मुझे तो बार बार पढ़ना पड़ता है। जस्टिस की बात की, सबसे पहला है जस्टिस, फिर लिबर्टी, फिर इक्वालिटी। तो सर इस देश की 100 मिलियन, माइंड 10 करोड़ 100 मिलियन महिलाओं के हक के बारे में आपने नहीं सोचा। मुझे इस बात पे बड़ी खुशी है कि आप ऐसा कानून लाए हैं कि मेरी बहनों की जो समस्याएं हैं उनका समाधान होगा। उम्मीद है कि इसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन अच्छा होगा। मगर मंत्री जी, इस देश में और भी महिलाएं रहती, कम से कम 100 मिलियन तो है, अगर मेरी गिनती गलत नहीं है तो कुछ ज्यादा ही हूं, जिनके बारे में इस बिल में कोई जिक्र नहीं है, किसी बिल में कोई जिक्र नहीं। इस हाउस में मैं मुस्लिम महिलाओं की बात कर रही हूं। इस हाउस में हम 3 मुस्लिम महिलाएं, 2 उधर मोहसिना जी और यास्मीन बैठी हैं, मैं इधर अकेली, शायद लोग मेरी पार्टी में लोकसभा में मैं अकेली हूं, लोकसभा में कांग्रेस में महिलाएं होंगी, मुस्लिम मुझे पता नहीं है, इतनी मालूमात नहीं कि कितनी है, क्योंकि मैं हिंदू मुसलमान की गिनती कभी करती नहीं, मैं सिर्फ महिला की गिनती करती हूं। मगर मुझे ये लगा कि इतने साल में आपने ये नहीं सोचा, ये तो कानून बार बार आता है, हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट का, स्पेशल मैरिज एक्ट का, मगर इसमें आप बांट क्यों रहे हैं? आपको नहीं लगता कि आप 100 करोड़ महिलाओं के हित की हिफाजत नहीं कर रहे हैं? क्या हम उन्हें इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी दे रहे हैं? क्या हम अपने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के प्रियम्बल, हमारे डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल, हमारी फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज के खिलाफ जा रहे हैं? क्या हम कानून, हमारे आईन का, हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का, हमारे संविधान का उल्लंघन नहीं कर रहे हैं? हम उनको उनका हक नहीं देके, क्या आपको नहीं लगता कि उनको भी जरूरत है? उनके यहाँ तलाक होती है, उनके बच्चे रखड़ जाते हैं बंबई की जबान में, कि उनका कोई वाली वारिस नहीं होता, पढ़ने की उनको तकलीफ होती है, रोटी खाने के लिए भी उनके पास पैसे नहीं। मंत्री जी, आप क्यों नहीं लेकर आए कोई बिल? मुझे याद है कि यहाँ इस हाउस में जब भी बात होती है, कभी हाउस के अंदर जिक्र होता है, तो कहा जाता है ये कलेक्टिव रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, इसलिए कोई भी जवाब दे सकता है। अगर आप पुराना इतिहास दें तो अशोक सेन साहब, जो एक बड़े अच्छे वकील थे, आप मानते होंगे, उन्होंने इस सदन में कोई वादे किए थे जब शाहबानो का बिल आया था, उन्होंने कोई प्रॉमिसेस किए थे कि हम जरूर उसमें तब्दीली लाएंगे। आज कितने साल हो गए, क्या कोई तब्दीली हुई? मैं यकीनन यहाँ अकेली बैठी हूं, पर मैं ये जिम्मेदारी से कह सकती हूँ कि मेरे भाई और मेरी बहनें जो मेरे साथ बैठे हैं और लोकसभा में हैं, वो सब मेरे साथ इस बात पे सहमत हैं कि हिंदुस्तान की 100 मिलियन मुसलमान औरतों के बारे में ये सरकार कुछ सोचती नहीं, उनके बारे में एक लेजिस्लेशन कभी लेकर नहीं आए, उनकी फलाह बहबूदी, उनकी बेहतरी के लिए आपने कभी कोई काम नहीं। आपकी कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी तो, मंत्री जी, आपकी कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी में तो मेजॉरिटी में है वो लोग, काफी तादाद में लोग हैं, क्या आप उनको कभी ख्याल नहीं आता कि मुसलमान औरतों के लिए भी हमें कुछ करना है? क्या आपको लगता है कि मुसलमान मर्द सभी बहुत अच्छे होते हैं? आप बताइए, क्या मुसलमान औरतों के लिए आपको बोलना नहीं चाहिए? क्या वो इस देश की नागरिक नहीं है? आप लोग सब खामोश बैठे, कोई एक तो खड़ा होके बोले कि हाँ हम समझते ये गलत है। ये क्या पाबंदी है आपके ऊपर कि आप मेजॉरिटी महिला की बात कर रहे हैं, एक माइनॉरिटी के लिए कोई बोलने को खड़ा नहीं होता? मुझे अफसोस नहीं, आप खड़ी होइए, बोलिए, मैं तो बहुत खुश होंगी कि मेरे
There is no question, and I speak for myself as well, there is no question of us looking at any women, irrespective of which community or caste they belong to, in any way different from what we see ourselves. Because women are 50% of this country's population, and there is no question of us further dividing them or seeing that their needs are not met. So there is no question of us not speaking for them. And let me tell you, we've always stood and spoken for women across, cutting across all lines, and particularly our minority women. There is no question of us not. They are our sisters, so that question does not arise.
If you want to intervene here, you can.
Sir,
you can do that.
Sir,
yes, please carry on.
I allowed her. I gave her the right to speak. I mean, from my time, I don't mind, because I'm very happy. At least one woman got up from the other side to
3 minutes now.
But sir, आप महिलाओं के मामले में इतना अत्याचार कर रहे हैं। क्या मैं महिलाओं
मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि आप अपने टाइम भी उनको दे रहे हैं, इसलिए मैं कह रहा हूँ।
सर दे दीजिए। देखिए, कोई लेजिस्लेशन हम ऐसा पास करें इस हाउस से, और सिर्फ इसलिए वो गलत लेजिस्लेशन यहाँ से पास होके जाता है जिसका हजारों लाखों करोड़ों लोगों के ऊपर उसका असर पड़ता है, और हम वजह क्या बताएं कि हमने क्यों वो लेजिस्लेशन जल्दी पास किया? क्योंकि हमारे पास समय नहीं था। ये बड़े अफसोस की बात है। क्या महिलाओं के बारे में बात करने के लिए हम मुंह दिखा सकते हैं लोगों को? क्या हमारे पास समय नहीं था? इसलिए हमने जल्दी जल्दी बिल पास कर दिया, जिसका इफेक्ट फैमिलीज पे पड़ने वाला है, जिसका इफेक्ट लाखों करोड़ों लोगों पे पड़ने वाला है। इस मुल्क में अगर बराबर की नहीं तो 49% महिलाएं हैं, और उन 49% में 100 मिलियन मुसलमान औरतें हैं, जिनके बारे में ये सरकार ने कभी एक लफ्ज नहीं कहा, जिनके बारे में कभी एक आवाज नहीं उठाई। यहाँ रहमान साहब बैठे हैं जो माइनॉरिटी के मंत्री हैं, मैं उनसे सवाल करना चाहती हूँ,
उनसे नहीं,
आपने कभी महिलाओं के लिए कुछ किया?
मैडम,
ओके, मैं आपके थ्रू उनसे पूछना चाहती हूँ। आई एग्री विद यू। मैं आपके थ्रू उनसे पूछना चाहती हूँ, क्या कभी कोई लेजिस्लेशन लेकर आए शाहबानों के बाद से? कोई रिफॉर्म्स करे? कोई उनके लिए बेहतरी सोची? कभी ये सोचा कि उनकी भी समस्याएं हैं? किसी ने नहीं सोचा, क्योंकि खाली वोट की पॉलिटिक्स होती है। वोट ले लिए, जहन्नम में जाओ, तुम्हारी औरतें और तुम्हारे मर्द, हमें इसकी कोई परवाह नहीं। सर, मेरी पार्टी के सब लोग मेरे पीछे खड़े रहेंगे। अगर ये सरकार लेके आती है कोई लेजिस्लेशन मुस्लिम महिलाओं के लिए, तो मैं आपको वादा करती हूँ कि ये सब सपोर्ट करेंगे। आप कोई अपोज नहीं करेगा। आप लेके तो आइए, आप कोशिश ही नहीं करते। आपकी इन्होंने बहुत अच्छा बोला, हमारी रेणुका जी ने, कि औरतों को डिवाइड नहीं करना। मैं भी यही कहना चाहती हूँ कि एक लॉ होना चाहिए औरतों के लिए। अगर मेरी 3 लड़कियां हैं, जैसे कि मेरी 3 लड़कियां हैं, मेरी एक लड़की अगर मुसलमान से शादी करती है तो उसके लिए एक कानून, मेरी लड़की अगर हिंदू से शादी करती है तो उसके लिए दूसरा कानून है, अगर मेरी लड़की पारसी से शादी करती है तो उसके लिए तीसरा कानून है। क्या आप औरतों को कानूनों में बांट देंगे? एक औरत की, एक घर की 3 लड़कियों को आप हिस्सों में बांट दोगे? ये कोई इंसाफ है? क्या आप नहीं सोचते हैं कि आप अपने संविधान का उल्लंघन कर रहे हैं? आर यू गिविंग द इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी to the 3 women in 1 family? What kind of law it is? Is any other? भारत मंत्री जी, आप सुन लीजिए, उन्हें ब्रीफ बाद में कर दीजिएगा। हाँ, उन्हें आप बाद में ब्रीफ कर दीजिएगा जरूर, मुझे कोई एतराज नहीं। अच्छी बात है।
जूनियर भी हमें ब्रीफ करता है, कोर्ट भी बातें करती है, और दोनों को सुनते हैं।
ठीक है, आपके 2 कान हैं, मुझे बड़ी खुशी है कि आप अपने दोनों कानों से अलग अलग बात सुन लेते हैं। मेरी बात को इस कान से निकाल के इस कान से बात मत कर दीजिएगा। सर, अहमियत की बात कर रही हूं। सर, आपको भी जवाब देना है। ये अदालत और ये पार्लियामेंट आज खत्म हो जाएगी। हम लोग यहाँ से रिटायर होकर चले जाएंगे, दुनिया से भी रिटायर होकर चले जाएंगे, पर एक बड़ी अदालत है, खुदा की अदालत है, मुझे भी वहां जवाब देना है। जब मुझसे कोई पूछेगा, वहां हमारे बनाने वाले ने औरत मर्द को बराबर बनाया है। अगर मुझसे वहां कोई पूछेगा कि जब ये नाइंसाफी औरतों के साथ हो रही थी, तो मैं क्या जवाब दूं? कि इस सदन में बैठ के, इतने बड़े सदन में बैठ के मैं उनके लिए आवाज नहीं उठा सकी। आप सुने या ना सुने, आप अमल करें या ना करें, मैं अपनी जिम्मेदारी से तो पीछे हट नहीं सकती। मैं, आप जब जवाब देंगे तो मैं उम्मीद करूंगी कि आप मुस्लिम महिलाओं के बारे में इस बिल में क्या करेंगे। आप महिलाओं को नहीं बांटेंगे, आप महिलाओं के लिए एक ही कानून लाइए। आप ये वादा करिए कि आप महिलाओं के लिए एक कानून लेकर आएंगे, कोई भी धर्म की महिला हो, किसी भी मजहब को मानती हो, आप एक कानून लाइए, वन लॉ फॉर ऑल द वुमेन ऑफ द कंट्री। थैंक यू।
धन्यवाद। नहीं, इसको बुलाना चौधरी राम प्रकाश।
सम्मानीय सभापति जी, एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण विषय पर चर्चा हो रही है। ये वो देश है जिसने कभी वसुधैव कुटुंबकम का नारा दिया था। उस देश में सांझे परिवार की इकाई टूट गई और आज एकल परिवार भी टूट रहा है। इसलिए आज इस बात की जरूरत पैदा हुई है कि अगर विवाह सही तौर पे नहीं चल रहा तो उसे खत्म होने की इजाजत होनी चाहिए, अनुमति होनी चाहिए। ये पारिवारिक समस्या हमारे पाश्चात्य चिंतन से जन्म लेती है। हमें इस बात का ख्याल रखना पड़ेगा कि पश्चिम एक ऐसी दिशा है जहां जाके सूरज भी डूब जाता है। हम अगर उसका अंधा अनुकरण करेंगे तो स्थिति हमारी भी उससे कोई बेहतर नहीं होगी। यह परिवार इसलिए टूटा कि हमारी सोच के अंदर एक सुधार करने की आवश्यकता है। हम ये तो चाहते हैं कि बहू घर में बेटी बन के रहे, लेकिन हमने कभी उसी बेटी समझा नहीं और उसकी वजह से उसके साथ दिक्कतें पैदा होती हैं। अगर कांच का गिलास रास्ते में पड़ा है, उसे ठोकर लगती है, वो टूट जाता है और टूटता है बेटी से तो माँ कहती है पाँव में चोट तो नहीं लगी, लेकिन अगर वो टूट जाता है बहू से तो कहती है अंधी हो रही है, सारे बर्तन इसी तरह तोड़ेगी। ये एक सोच का फर्क है जिसकी वजह से आज हमारे सामने ये समस्या पैदा हुई है। अगर हम बहू को बेटी बनाना सीख जाएं तो शायद जो आज तलाक की समस्याएं हैं वो आधी रह जाएं। इसलिए मैं इसका समर्थन करता हूं कि जीवन तबाह नहीं होना चाहिए। हर महिला का, हर पुरुष का कुछ जीवन में पोटेंशियल है, उसका पूरा लाभ वो राष्ट्र को दे सके। इसके लिए ये जरूरी है कि अगर विवाह नहीं ठीक चल रहा तो उसे समाप्त कर देना चाहिए। पर यह समस्या इतनी नहीं है। आज दहेज के नाम पे विवाह टूटने के कितने लाखों केस कचहरियों में पड़े, 20-20 साल तक वो केस उलझे रह जाते हैं। एक दूसरे को सजा देने के लिए तुले हुए होते हैं कि मेरी जिंदगी तो तबाह हो गई, अब इसकी भी जिंदगी तबाह करूंगा। मैं ये समझता हूं अगर मंत्री जी इस बिल के अंदर इस तरह का भी कोई प्रावधान कर पाए जिसकी वजह से जो बहुत लंबे समय से केस चल रहे हैं तलाक के, उनका कोई समाधान हो पाए, तो शायद जो भाव हम लेके चले हैं उस भाव की गहराई के साथ पूर्ति हो सकेगी। मैं इस बारे में यह भी कहना चाहता हूं कि जो दहेज का बिल है उसका बहुत दुरुपयोग हो रहा है। बूढ़ा बाप है, उसने हार्ट सर्जरी कराई है, लेकिन उसको जेल के अंदर डाला जा सकता है। बूढ़ी मां है, उसको भी तंग करने के लिए दहेज का केस बनाया जाता है। क्या बुढ़िया मां महिला नहीं है जो उसके साथ ये अत्याचार होता है? तो इसलिए जहां आप ये बिल लेके आए हैं वहां इस समस्या की तरफ भी ध्यान दें कि जो लंबे समय से केस चल रहे हैं वे भी ऐसी विवाह हैं जो किसी तरह भी दोबारा ठीक नहीं हो पाएंगे, जो नहीं निभ पाएंगे। वो 20-20 साल के अंदर नहीं निभ पाए तो अब हम किस दिन की इंतजार कर रहे हैं? अगर हम जिस बिल को पास करते हैं जिसका मैं समर्थन कर रहा हूं, तो हमें उन लोगों के बारे में भी सोचना चाहिए जो अपना अच्छा लाभ इस देश को दे सकते हैं, अपनी योग्यता का, अपनी क्षमता का, लेकिन जो कचहरियों के दरवाजे खटखटाते जिनकी सारी उम्र निकल जाती। मैं इस बारे में एक दो बात और कहना चाहता हूं। तलाक दीजिए, लेकिन जो छोटे छोटे बच्चे अपनी मां की तरफ देख रहे हैं, अपने पिता की तरफ देख रहे हैं, इन दो आपस में नहीं निभ पाए पति पत्नी, ये तो अपनी जिंदगी बसर करने के लिए अलग हो जाएंगे, लेकिन वो जो छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं उनकी देखभाल कौन करेगा? यहां केवल मात्र आर्थिक संरक्षण की बात नहीं है, भावनात्मक सुरक्षा बहुत बड़ी समस्या है। छोटे छोटे बच्चों को या उससे मां छिन जाएगी या उससे पिता छिन जाएगा, इसकी भी व्यवस्था होनी चाहिए। और मैं ये समझता हूं कि जो अपनी मैरिज को नाकामयाब मान करके विवाह तोड़ रहे हैं, तोड़ने दीजिए, लेकिन उनके ऊपर कोई ऐसी कंडीशन भी होनी चाहिए कि ये जो बच्चे हैं ये अनाथ बच्चे बनकर के तड़फते न रह जाएं, बल्कि उनका भी कोई भविष्य है, उनकी भी कोई जिंदगी है, वे भी अपना भविष्य देखते हैं, अच्छा इंजीनियर बनना चाहते हैं, डॉक्टर बनना चाहते हैं। अगली बात मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा आपसे कि डाइवोर्स प्रॉपर्टी में, मैट्रिमोनियल प्रॉपर्टी में डाइवोर्स का हिस्सा है। आपने 50% कर लिया, मुबारक हो, लेकिन जो छोटे छोटे बच्चे पीछे रह गए, जिनकी पढ़ाई होनी है, लिखाई होनी है, उसका क्या हिस्सा है, उसकी क्या व्यवस्था है, मैं इसके बारे में जानकारी हासिल करना चाहूंगा। मैं यह भी जानना चाहूंगा कि एक गरीब लड़का था जिसके पिता भूमिहीन है, जिसके बाप ने मजदूरी करके पेट पे पत्थर बांध के धरती को बिछोना और आकाश को अपना ओढ़ना मान करके अपने बच्चे को बढ़ाया, और उसके बाद वे बच्चा अच्छा इंजीनियर बन गया, लग गया, विवाह हुआ, नहीं पाया, विवाह टूट गया, आधी प्रॉपर्टी उसके पास चली गई। वो बूढ़े मां बाप का क्या सहारा बनेगा? अगर उसके कोई छोटे भाई बहन हैं, उनके लिए क्या व्यवस्था की जाएगी? हम जब कानून बनाने लगते हैं तो उसमें हमें इन सारे पहलुओं के बारे में विचार करना चाहिए कि जो छोटे बच्चे हैं उनका क्या बनेगा, जो डिपेंडेंट भाई और बहन हैं उनका क्या बनेगा, जो डिपेंडेंट बाप हैं जिनकी कोई आर्थिक सुरक्षा नहीं है उनका क्या बनेगा। इस बात के बारे में थोड़ा स्पष्टीकरण हो जाए तो मैं समझता हूं बहुत अच्छा रहेगा। मेरी एक बात को हंसी में मत लीजिएगा, मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं 50% प्रॉपर्टी दे दी, दोबारा उसने तलाक ले लिया दूसरी बार, फिर 50% मिलेगा। यहां तो ऐसे भी केस हैं जिन्होंने तीसरी बार, ये बात बिल के माध्यम से पूरे तौर पे हमें स्पष्ट कर देनी चाहिए ताकि ये ऐसी बात न बन जाए जिसकी वजह से समाज में अच्छे हैं, समाज में बुरे लोग भी हैं, अच्छी महिलाएं हैं, पूजा के काबिल हैं, देवियां हैं, मैं श्रद्धा पूर्वक नमन करता हूं, पांव छूता हूं, अच्छे आदमी हैं, मैं सिर झुका के उनका अभिनंदन करता हूं। लेकिन समाज में जहां राम है वहां रावण भी है, और जब आप कोई कानूनी व्यवस्था करने लगे तो उसके बारे में भी कानूनी व्यवस्था करने की जरूरत है। अंतिम बात मैं आपसे एक और कहना चाहता हूं, आजकल हमारे गांवों में इस तरह के केस हो रहे हैं कि विवाहित देवी है, 2-3 बच्चे हैं, घर में किसी को बताए बिना किसी दूसरे आदमी के साथ निकल गई। मुझे यह भाषा इस्तेमाल करने के मजबूरन करना पड़ रहा है, मैं किसी देवी के बारे में ऐसे शब्द कहना नहीं चाहता, और जाके उसने किसी और से विवाह कर लिया, तलाक लिया नहीं। क्या ये मैट्रिमोनियल प्रॉपर्टी का हक उसके लिए भी है? यह बात भी थोड़ा स्पष्टीकरण मांगता है। एक बात और जिसकी तरफ किसी का ध्यान नहीं है, हिंदुस्तान के अंदर जो सबसे ज्यादा दुखिया है वो माइग्रेटरी लेबर की महिलाएं हैं, चाहे वो भट्ठों पे काम करती हो, चाहे वो कंस्ट्रक्शन का काम करती हो। मैंने अपनी आंख से देखा है, बिल्डिंग्स पे काम करती हुई मैंने एक महिला को देखा ऐसे, जिसको देख करके आदमी को यूं लगे इसमें सांस कहां से चल रहा है, और 2-3 बच्चे उसके साथ। मैंने कहा ये क्यों मजदूरी करती है, इसके पति क्यों नहीं मजदूरी करते? कि साहब जब ये फलां प्रदेश से आई थी तब तो इसके साथ पति था, लेकिन वो तो इसे छोड़ के भाग गया, कहीं और चला गया। अब ये बेचारी असहाय है, 4 दिन यहां किसी के साथ रह लेगी, फिर वो उसे छोड़ के चला जाएगा। मैं सरकार से जानना चाहता हूं कि हमने कोई ऐसा सर्वे किया है कि जो माइग्रेटरी लेबर के अंदर इस तरह की असहाय, दुखिया, रोटी से मोहताज महिलाएं हैं, उनके बच्चे हैं, उनके लिए भी क्या हम किसी बिल में कोई व्यवस्था करेंगे? आपका संकेत हो गया, मैं बात आगे नहीं बढ़ाऊंगा, आपने समय दिया, आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, शुक्रिया।
धन्यवाद। अब नरेंद्र कुमार काश्यप।
महोदय, विवाह विधि संशोधन विधेयक 2010 का प्रभाव देश की अधिकांश आबादी पर होगा यकीनन, और यह सदन इस मत का समर्थक है कि महिलाओं को सशक्त देश में होना चाहिए, और इस मत का समर्थन भारतीय संविधान के निर्माता परम पूज्य बाबा साहब डॉक्टर अंबेडकर जब इस देश के सबसे पहले कानून मिनिस्टर थे, वो हिंदू कोड बिल लेकर आए थे, और हिंदू कोड बिल के माध्यम से डॉक्टर अंबेडकर साहब ने इस बात का समर्थन किया था, चूंकि महिला देश के सम्मान और प्रतिष्ठा का एक प्रतीक है, इसलिए महिलाओं के सम्मान और सुरक्षा की व्यवस्था देश की शासन प्रणाली को करनी चाहिए। देश की मौजूदा सरकार ने महिला सशक्तिकरण की योजना को इस बिल के माध्यम से आगे बढ़ाने की कोशिश की है। हालांकि इससे पहले भी कई कानून हमारे देश में बने, आईपीसी में संशोधन हुआ, 498A जोड़ा गया, नया दहेज अधिनियम बनाया 3/4 करके, और सरकार का पूरा यह मंशा रहा कि महिलाओं के हितों की सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित हो। लेकिन आज एक सवालिया निशान उस समय पूरे देश के सियासी लोगों पर लगता है कि हम आजाद होने के बाद भी, हम प्रजातांत्रिक प्रणाली को प्रयोग करने के बावजूद भी महिलाओं की हितों की सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। महोदय, मैं इस बिल को 2 भागों में बांटकर देखता हूं। इस बिल का पहला पोर्शन, जिस पे हमारे देश के योग माननीय मंत्री जी ने डाइवोर्स के सिस्टम को और विस्तार करने की कोशिश की है, हम आपके इस विस्तार रूप से सहमत हैं। आपने म्यूचुअल डाइवोर्स के लिए 3 साल का समय निश्चित किया और बहुत सारे कानूनी प्रावधान दिए, उसमें हमें बहुत ज्यादा आपत्ति नहीं है। लेकिन एक चीज जो मुझे इस बिल में देखने के लिए नहीं मिली कि अगर कोई व्यक्ति या महिला बहरा है, गूंगा है, अनपढ़ है, वो और उनके संबंध अच्छे नहीं है, इस बात का जिक्र पहले भी कई बार कानून के वेताओं ने किया है, तो उनके लिए विवाह विच्छेद की प्रणाली कैसे लागू होगी, कैसे वो अपने पारिवारिक जीवन से आगे बढ़ सकेंगे, एक तो इसका हवाला इस बिल में नहीं दिया गया। दूसरी बात, आपने पारिवारिक संपत्ति में पत्नी की हिस्सेदारी पर अपनी व्यवस्था दी है, जो देश की महिलाओं की एक बड़ी मांग थी। पूरा सदन, पूरा देश इस बात से सहमत है कि महिलाओं को संबंध विच्छेद हो जाने के बाद बेसहारा असहाय ना होना पड़े, इसलिए पति की संपत्ति में उसको हिस्सेदारी देना एक अच्छे कानून की व्यवस्था हम कह सकते हैं। लेकिन उन संबंधों से जन्मे बच्चों को उस प्रॉपर्टी में हिस्सेदारी का प्रतिशत क्या होगा, इस पर कानून मौन है। इस पर विधेयक में कोई व्यवस्था नजर नहीं आई है। क्या माननीय मंत्री जी, विवाह विच्छेद के उपरांत विवाह से उत्पन्न बच्चों के जीवन भरण के लिए पिता की संपत्ति में हिस्सेदारी का प्रतिशत भी तय करने पर विचार करेंगे? और महोदय एक बात कह के बात समाप्त कर दूंगा।
आपका समय पूरा
मुझे
हो चुका।
मालूम है समय की कमी है, लेकिन मुद्दा बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण है महोदय। आज के भारतीय युग में बहुत सारे पुरुष अपनी संपत्ति का रजिस्ट्रेशन पत्नी के नाम भी कराते हैं। अगर पति के पास कोई जीवन का गुजारा नहीं है और संपत्ति की मालिक पत्नी है, तो क्या उस सूरत में पति को भी पत्नी की संपत्ति में हक लेने का अधिकार ये कानून दे सकेगा? इस पर भी जरूर अपनी प्रतिक्रिया मंत्री जी व्यक्त करेंगे। और एक बात कह के महोदय बात समाप्त कर रहा हूं
हो चुका है
कि ये बिल, इस बिल का प्रभाव आपने हिंदू धर्म से जुड़े हुए परिवारों तक शायद सीमित रखा है। हमारा देश धर्मनिरपेक्ष देश है और डाइवोर्स के बाद क्या जो बाकी मजहब के लोग हैं उनकी महिलाओं को भी संपत्ति में हिस्सेदारी का कानून मिलेगा, हक मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा? कोई अगर मंत्री जी व्यवस्था दें तो मैं समझता हूं कि देश की 100% महिलाओं का जीवन विवाह विच्छेद के बाद सुरक्षित हो जाएगा और आपके इस अधिनियम की महत्ता बढ़ेगी। माननीय मंत्री जी, आप अच्छा कानून लाए, आपने अच्छी शुरुआत की। उपसभापति जी, आपने मौका दिया, मैं दोनों का धन्यवाद करता हूं।
नेक्स्ट स्पीकर झरना दास उपाध्याय।
Thank you, sir. Sir, we are moving main amendment to the official amendment moved by the Honorable Minister, 13F. We demand delete this clause and add new clause, official amendment, to give equal share of the immovable property other than inheritable immovable property, who is acquired during subsistence of marriage, and court will decide how much share. But our amendment is that the property acquired during the subsistence of marriage be divided equally between the husband and wife. Sir, because equal share on the property is women's right. Second, leaving the decision to court to fix the quantum of the share that should be given to the women would create adverse effect, since many courts are mandated by persons who have patriarchal mindset and represent the male-dominated value system of our society. Third, by clubbing the wife and children together, the equal share of the wife get reduced. सर, इस बिल आने के बाद हम लोग क्या देख रहे हैं? इतना सारी एसएमएस हम लोगों के पास आ रहे हैं। ये कहां से आ रहे हैं? मेल ग्रुप से। जब ये बिल पास होगा तो फैमिली डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाएगा। सर, मैं ये कहना चाहती हूं, इस हाउस में जो महिला के पास क्या है, महिला को ये बोला जाता है, क्या ये संबंध दिया जाते है कि वो माना जाते है वो आधा आसमान है, आधा आकाश है। तो हम लोग ये नहीं चाहते, हम लोग आकाश नहीं चाहते। आकाश तो इतना दूर है, हम लोग जमीन चाहते हैं, जमीन मांगते हैं हम लोग। महिला को जमीन क्यों नहीं दे जाएगा? डिवोर्स का बारी है और डिवोर्स महिला ऐसे नहीं चाहते, कोई भी महिला डिवोर्स ऐसे नहीं चाहते। घटनाएं होते तो डिवोर्स मांगते हैं। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने सर क्या बोला? द सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया हैज ऑब्जर्व्ड दैट द गवर्नमेंट शुड असेस द वैल्यू ऑफ द अनपेड होममेकर बोथ इन एक्सीडेंट क्लेम्स and in matter of division of the matrimonial properties. Then the court has also stated that Parliament should make amendments to matrimonial laws to give effect to the mandate of Article 15(1) in the Constitution. Sir, एक मिनट सर, हम लोग ये बोलना चाहते हैं जो इक्वल शेयर होना चाहिए डिवोर्स में। इक्वल शेयर नहीं है तो नहीं हो तो हम लोग मूव द अमेंडमेंट फॉर इक्वल शेयर सर, एज वी कैनॉट बी पार्टी टू लिबरलाइजेशन ऑफ डिवोर्स लॉज without necessary protection of women and safeguarding of their equal rights.
समाप्त कीजिए। धन्यवाद। The next speaker is Derek O'Brien.
Sir, there is an old saying which says that if you marry in haste, you repent in leisure. But you've only given me 2 minutes today, so I better make my points in haste, but make 2 very quick points before you ring that bell. So firstly, we want to, on the first part, we want to appreciate the Minister for including those amendments which were sorely lacking in the original, particularly the ones about inheritance and inheritable immovable property, and of course the other one about minor children, and now the adopted children are also included in that. That's a very nice 2-3 amendments. So our one issue, but I know it's a little bit of a fait accompli because the government and the leading opposition party have got together, so this is going to pass in any case. But we must flag this point, sir. And the point is, this is a wonderful idea to empower women, and we are all for that. But while empowering women, why leave the men out? And our focus, sir, is keep empowering the woman, especially in a country like India where women are empowered in so many different ways, but make it a gender neutral approach. Replace the word wife or husband with spouse, as this is the one point, because as much as we want to empower women, and we must empower women, but why should we empower women at the expense of men? Both can be empowered, and I know in 99% of cases, it is the woman who is given the bad deal, but in those 1 or 2% of cases, if it's gender neutral, it's more forward thinking, and it takes a view that there's a lot of good thinking which has happened in this bill, including the amendments. So if that one more step is taken in the future, that would be even better. Thank you, sir. More power to women.
Thank you. Now, Arvind Kumar Singh.
2 minutes, sir. क्या बोलो? उपाध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं आपका आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि आपने मुझे हिंदू विवाह अधिनियम पर बोलने का मौका दिया है। महोदय, भारतीय संस्कृति के अनुसार विवाह प्रमुख संस्कारों में से एक है। प्रायः यह भी कहा जाता है कि ये ऐसे रिश्ते होते हैं जो जन्म लेने से पूर्व ही भगवान के घर में निश्चित हो जाते हैं। महोदय, समाज में तमाम विकृतियां हैं। जिस तरह से स्वस्थ शरीर में बीमारी प्रवेश कर जाती है, उसी तरीके से स्वस्थ वैवाहिक जीवन में कड़वाहट भी प्रवेश कर जाती है। मंत्री जी, आपके बिल को हमने बहुत ध्यान से पढ़ा है। विवाह विच्छेद के बाद पत्नी अपना ठीक से जीवन यापन कर सके, इसके लिए नियम कानून बनने चाहिए। महोदय, आपने ये दिया है कि विवाह विच्छेद के बाद पति की अर्जित संपत्ति में पत्नी का हिस्सा होगा। गुजारा भत्ता कितना होगा, ये बाद में अदालत तय करेगी। महोदय, इससे एक बात साफ हो गई है कि पति पत्नी के बीच जो तलाक होता है, उसके लिए केवल पति जिम्मेदार होता है। इस संशोधन से यह स्पष्ट है कि तलाक के लिए पूर्णतः पति को जिम्मेदार ठहराया गया है। मान्यवर, मैं जानना चाहता हूं आपके माध्यम से माननीय मंत्री जी से कि यदि पत्नी नौकरी कर रही हो और वो तलाक की अर्जी डाली हो, पति बेरोजगार हो, तो ऐसी स्थिति में तलाकशुदा पत्नी अपने बेरोजगार पति को गुजारा भत्ता देगी? क्या ये व्यवस्था है? तमाम लोगों के फोन आ रहे हैं, मोबाइल आ रहे हैं, लोग कह रहे हैं कि यह पूरी तरीके से कानून पुरुषों को गुलाम बनाने के लिए हो रहा है। और महोदय, इतना ही नहीं, सदन ने कई कानून बनाए, उस कानून का बहुत दुरुपयोग हुआ। और जो आप कानून बनाने जा रहे हैं, मैं सदन के माध्यम से बताना चाहता हूं कि इस कानून का भी बेतहाशा दुरुपयोग होगा। और दुरुपयोग के बाद मंत्री जी पुनः संशोधन के लिए तैयार रहिए आप। बहुत अधिक दुरुपयोग होगा, हम इसका विरोध नहीं करते। तलाक के बाद हमारी मां को, हमारी बहन को सम्मान मिले, लेकिन जब इसका दुरुपयोग होगा तो उसको रोकने के क्या उपाय होंगे, इस पर भी आप गंभीरतापूर्वक विचार कर लीजिएगा। समय कम है, बातें बहुत सी हैं। सिर्फ इस बात का ध्यान दिया जाए कि इस कानून के माध्यम से अलग हुए नवदंपति को लाभ मिले, ऐसा न हो कि एक को लाभ मिले, एक को बहुत ज्यादा नुकसान हो। इन्हीं चंद शब्दों के साथ आपने सदन में बोलने का मौका दिया। हम आपका आभार व्यक्त करते हुए अपनी बात समाप्त करते हैं। जय हिंद, जय समाजवाद।
धन्यवाद। श्रीमती कानीमोझी, you have only 1 minute. I don't. पार्टी आपका दे दीजिए।
Sir, please.
Carry on. You start.
Thank you, sir. And I raised to support this bill. And today, everybody, many of them here are concerned and worried about women misusing this bill. I really can't understand. When it comes to a women's bill, it's the first point which is always raised is that women will misuse it. And even here, somebody, when they were talking about the dowry, we've heard of so many dowry deaths, so many women being burned to death, and acid injections being put. So much has happened, but still misuse and women using it as a revenge against the husband and the mother-in-laws is the only concern we have. So in this kind of attitude, I think women, here a colleague also spoke about Derek. When he was talking about a gender-neutral bill. Of course, we'll all welcome a gender-neutral bill when our country becomes equal, where it gives, like, I don't think this house actually has a right to even pass anything, a bill about women, because I can hardly see women here. When it is 50%, we've been fighting about 33%. When we achieve 50%, then maybe we can talk about women's empowerment, which has already happened in India. We can talk about, gender neutral things. Now we have to be more concerned about the people, the section of society which is being oppressed, which is not being treated fairly, which doesn't get justice. And this bill is really progressive. And I welcome the minister for including adopted children also along with the minor children. But there are certain concerns I have which I'd like to raise. It is not very clear when it comes to maintenance. It's every time there's a divorce case and it goes to court, it's completely left at the mercy of the judge. There's nothing clear, there's no standard to be followed that for sure that a woman will get this portion as a woman or whatever, children, they will get a particular portion as maintenance and alimony. And in so many cases, there is a maintenance or alimony awarded, but there's no mechanism put in place that it is being paid every month or whenever the time interval is, because if it doesn't come, there are most of the women here do not have the choice to choose what they want to do, choose the education they want, and they don't have the right to choose what kind of careers they want to pursue after the marriage or before marriage. So everything else is restricted, and you cannot expect a woman to be completely free and make economic decisions. That kind of right is not there. So in this case, when she completely depends on her spouse for her income or maintenance, we have to put in a mechanism that to make sure that this reaches her and the children properly. And one more thing is that it's mentioned that minor children and unmarried girls and widowed daughters will continue to get the maintenance. At 18, I think many of the boys also haven't finished their education. So we also have to take care of their rights. And that...
Please conclude.
Just one. And of course, about the ancestral property, it has been mentioned that it will be decided in court, the value of the ancestral property and what has been inherited, the value of it will be decided in court, and then there will be a ruling on that. But I think that also is very ambiguous. It leaves a lot of space for different kinds of interpretations during different cases. I think we have to have something more clear about maintenance in this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Renubala Pradhan.
Respected sir, I am grateful to you for allowing me to participate and share my views on the Marriage Law Amendment Bill 2010. Sir, I support the bill which is for consideration before this August House. The Marriage Law Amendment Bill 2010 has been brought before his House for the amendment, the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and the Special Marriage Act 1954 as part of the Hindu Code Bill. The Hindu Marriage Act was enacted in 1955 by the Indian Parliament. It is an act to amend and codify the marriage law among Hindus. Its purpose was to regulate personal life of Hindus, especially the institution of marriage, its validity, condition for invalidity and applicability. Sir, on the demand for various quarters for making irretrievable breakdown of marriage as ground of divorce under the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, the central government referred the matter to the Law Commission of the India for its consideration. The Law Commission in 71 report titled The Hindu Marriage Act 1955, Breakdown of Marriage as Ground Divorce, submitted in April 1978. They had examined the issue of detailed amendment the Hindu Marriage Act 1950. Based recommendation of the Law Commission legislation was proposed the Marriage Law Amendment Bill 2010 to amend the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and the Special Marriage Act 1954 by making divorce easier on ground or irretrievable breakdown of marriage, introduced the Parliament 2012. The bill replaced the word not earlier than 6 months in section 13B with the word upon receipt of petition. It also provided better safeguard to wife by interesting section 13D, by which the wife may oppose the grant of a decree on the ground that this legislation of the marriage resolution financial hardship to her, and that the would circumstances be wrong disclose the marriage. the new section 13E provided restriction on the decree for divorce affecting children born
Your time is over.
wedlock, and state of the court shall not pass a decree of divorce under section 30C unless the court satisfied that the
Thank you.
provision mentioned children born out of the marriage has been made constitution and financially capacity of the parties.
I'm calling the
of
next
marriage.
speaker. Thank you. Vandana Chavan is the next speaker.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So I stand to support the Marriage Laws Amendment Bill, but I do so with mixed feelings, sir. On the one hand, this bill puts at rest a long pending direction from several quarters, the Honorable Supreme Court, the Law Commission reports, to make irretrievable breakdown of marriage a ground for divorce. Matrimonial relations are matters of delicate human and emotional relations. When they are broken, it is impossible for them to make up, and it is useless to wash dirty linen in public. And through these provisions, 13B and 13C, naturally, this is now circumvented. Realizing that I have very few minutes at my disposal, sir, I would like to say that there are several welcome provisions. The most welcome provision in this bill is that the maintenance and upkeep of the wife and children have been given supreme consideration while granting divorce under 13C. So I wish to air my concern, and that is we have to realize that the family is now becoming more and more democratic and more egalitarian. Women, as said by several of my colleagues, in some cases are earning as same as their husbands, in some cases even more. While this bill, sir, gives an opportunity to oppose the irretrievable breakdown of marriage for a woman, it is unfair that under this bill, a man cannot at all challenge a divorce petition filed by his wife. It may sound odd, sir, for a woman saying this, but just as it is important that we fight for women's cause, I think it is very important that we also fight for human rights, and which may be even more important. And therefore, undoubtedly, sir, women have suffered for centuries. We have to be protected. Our children have to be protected. But that is no excuse, sir, to make the current generation of men suffer. And in this case, sir, I would like to substantiate my say by inviting the Honorable Minister's attention to the Law Commission report number 217. So while making its recommendations in the last para, 3.1, it definitely says that it is suggested that immediate action be taken to introduce an amendment in the Hindu Marriage Act and the Special Marriage Act for inclusion of irretrievable breakdown of marriage as another ground of grant of divorce, which we are doing now. 3.2, sir, specifically said that the amendment may also provide that the court, before granting the decree of divorce on the ground of marriage, that the marriage has been irretrievably broken down, should examine whether adequate financial arrangements have been made for the parties and children. However, sir, in our bill, our objects and reasons in para number 5, unfortunately, only says that the same para, however, thereunder subject to certain safeguards to the wife and affected children. Now, sir, the Commission talked about parties and children, so I think as my colleague Mr. O'Brien and even Kanimozhi also voiced that it has to be a more, of course, women need justice, but it should be a gender neutral provision.
Conclude.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next speaker is Dr. Bharat Kumar Rao.
Thank you, sir. I don't know how much time you are given to me, but I would say that to bundle out this type of important bill in such a short period, I think it is not just. You should give enough time for deliberation in this house. Having said though, I would like to remain in the time frame. This bill is with a very good intention, and therefore I would like to welcome the minister for bringing in this bill. But, sir, in modern society, when we are traveling in 21st century, every enactment should be gender free and also religion free. Here we should have been gender neutral and religion neutral. However, this bill seems to be meant only for women, taking interest of women into consideration, and also it relates only to the Hindu marriage. I do not understand why this government should keep the divide between religions even in the 21st century. If this bill is called Marriage Laws Amendment Bill, actually it is Hindu Marriage Laws Amendment Bill. I think that, as Najma ji has specifically mentioned, women of other religions should also be covered under this act, because that is also very, very necessary. Same way, as he has said, it should have been said spouse and not husband, because then that would become more just to the bill, because many a times women are earning more than men. In that case, what do you do about the maintenance? So many things, many such litigations will arise out of this. Sir, another thing is, what I fear, because of the provisions of the bill, many broken marriages will remain intact only on paper, and there a woman will be deprived of the right to be separated and get married again. Because if there is a provision for the inherited property, many families will think, why give divorce? Why allow to separate? Instead, let her remain in the family, and then they would go ahead. In that case, you are depriving a woman of the right to be separated. I think the minister, he is an eminent lawyer. He should look into it very carefully and then do the needful in this case. Though I am saying that this bill is good, the right to challenge the divorce should remain equal. If a woman can challenge the divorce, even man should be able to challenge the divorce, because actually it is a mutual thing. Marriage is not one party. Marriage is a marriage of two parties. So when they are separating, there should be equal right for separation. So, sir, I believe that the minister will take into consideration all these nitty-gritties, because this is a very, very thin. There's a very thin line between what could be just and what is not just. You should look at that gray area where it could be interpreted both ways. For a parliament, it is just passing a bill or not passing a bill. But for every woman and every man who undergoes that plight of getting separated, if we are adding to their plight, then I think the whole purpose is defeated. Many issues have been raised about the dependent children. Same what was said about 18-year boy or 18-year girl. Many times they have not completed their education also. So how do we define them? I think there also the better definition should be done, more specific definition should be done, so that it would not be unjust to any of the parties. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next speaker is Dr. Gyan Prakash Pilani.
Thanks, Your Honor. I am grateful for your kind indulgence. I stand for supporting this bill, which is a progressive bill. I will call it a legislation for liberation of women, a legislation for empowerment.
Please be short, you have 2 minutes.
A legislation which is a kind of Magna Carta for those who are suffering a marriage which becomes a continued torture. When married life becomes hell, जब दाम्पत्य जीवन नरक बन जाए, then we call it irretrievable ground for divorce. 4 authorities have supported this bill, firstly, Law Commission's report, 71st report, that recommended it should be done. Secondly, Supreme Court's judgment of 1985. Thirdly, Supreme Court judgment of 2006. And finally, 18th Law Commission. All of them have unambiguously pointed out this is the need of the hour.
Next year.
And hence, this legislation was introduced in Lok Sabha on 27th February 1981. It is of 33 years vintage. There are durust ayat, but Honorable Law Minister and government has to explain why it took 33 years if this was considered to be a very important legislation. I mean, we would like to hear his views on this. As far as divorce is concerned, it has been very rightly pointed out, it becomes a majburi only. No women of her own volition, no women because of fun, no women just because of toss of a coin will go in for divorce. Divorce is a curse for a woman, which she has to accept when there is no way out. And that way out has been suggested in this bill.
Thank you, thank you. Please conclude. Thank you.
I'll just take a second more.
Yes.
My suggestion is this should be applicable to all Indians, irrespective of their creed, caste, place. I mean, it should not be applicable only to Hindus. Why other women who are suffering, why they are not given this opportunity? So it should be looked into. It may be beyond the pale of this act. It may be beyond, the purview of the discussion. But this is the point which has been put forth by so many distinguished members of this House.
Thank you, Pilania ji. Please conclude.
One law for everyone.
Mr. Pyari Mohan
Mohapatra. One law for
Mohapatra.
every citizen and one law for every woman. I think. And I'll again say, there are durust ayat, and we hope.
Please conclude.
Will get something.
The next speaker is already on his feet.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you for your goodness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Chairman. Thank you for time.
Please keep in mind the time constraint.
I will go by telegraphic language. First, I agree that this particular law is not for the poor women, the lower middle class women, and the Muslim women. Particularly, I refer to the Muslim women because I have been witness in a number of Muslim marriages, and the nikah amount is so paltry, even among two educated, well-placed couple, that one wonders what happens to the lady when it's said only that amount is paid and the lady is gone. What are you doing for them? Madam Heptullah raised that issue and so many have supported. Will you please think, instead of appeasing for vote bank politics, will you think of them as Indians and do something about it? Second is irretrievable breakdown of marriage. What is the ground of irretrievable breakdown of marriage? It can be in the hands of the judiciary, which is now considered to be, Transparency International has shown 36% corruption in the judiciary. What can happen? Please imagine. I have seen so many grounds of divorce with some lawyers. One, did not respect my father, so my tension increased. I suffered from blood pressure. There was not enough milk for the child in my breast. This was the ground, irretrievable ground for divorce. These are, please, it's very easy to bring a particular term. This is perhaps to make it for rich professionals. Professionals want to keep on changing their spouses. This is not going to work in our society. People will misuse it. mutual consent. Now, if you thought that standing committee had done something, that the old thing is 6 months, clear 6 months to think about it coolly, that's cooling off period, why do you again hand it over to the judiciary, that it can reduce it? Please, Mr. Minister, please rethink before the bill is passed.
Mr.
Please take out
Mohabbat,
your
I'm
amendment
sorry, but please
and
conclude.
amend it, madam.
Thank you.
Please amend it, madam. Just a second, one or two. Please amend it to say that the old thing is restored. Otherwise, again with a corrupt judiciary, we will have problems. Then, one, I agree with others, many of these, that it should be gender neutral. It should be gender neutral, particularly, and this grave financial hardship. Please cut out the word grave, because again in the hands of judiciary, it is liable to be misused.
Thank you.
Financial hardship only, and this should be available to both husband and wife. In case of property, to be available to both husband and wife. Wife property also should come into this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Thawarchand Gehlot.
मैं जो विवाह विधि संशोधन विधेयक प्रस्तुत हुआ है, भावनात्मक तो उसका समर्थन करता हूं, परंतु उसमें बहुत सारी ऐसी बातें हैं जो विसंगति कारक है, तकलीफदायक है। जैसे धारा 13(ख) में जो संशोधन है कि इसके बाद में इसको हिंदू विवाह अधिनियम पढ़ा जाए। भारत के संविधान में समान अधिकार की व्यवस्था है और समान अपराध के लिए समान सजा का प्रावधान भी है, और इस संबंध में संवैधानिक प्रावधानों के अंतर्गत सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने एक बार नहीं अनेक बार ये निर्णय दिया है कि इस देश में समान नागरिक कानून संहिता बनना चाहिए। उस दिशा में सरकार ने अभी तक कोई कदम नहीं उठाया है, वो उठाया जाना चाहिए। मैं मध्य प्रदेश का निवासी हूँ। मध्य प्रदेश की एक मुस्लिम महिला शाहबानो ने, उसके पति ने जब उसको तलाक दे दिया था तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक लड़ाई लड़ी और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये आदेश दिया था, जजमेंट दिया था कि इसको भरण पोषण की सुविधा उनके पति के द्वारा जिसने तलाक दिया है करवाई जाए। दुख की बात है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट के उस आदेश को व्यर्थ करने के लिए पिछली तारीख से इस संसद ने कोई कानून बनाया और उसको वो लाभ मिलने से वंचित कर दिया। आज इस प्रकार की अनेक महिलाएं हैं, उन महिलाओं के बारे में आप और हम सब अगर नहीं सोचेंगे तो कौन सोचेगा। मानव अधिकार की बात हम करते हैं, मानव अधिकार आयोग भी बना रखा है, परंतु इन सब बातों पर अगर विचार नहीं करेंगे तो इन सब संस्थानों का कोई औचित्य नहीं है। फिर एक बात ये, सामान्यतः पहले कानून बना हुआ था कि अगर कोई पति पत्नी एक दूसरे को तलाक देना चाहे तो अर्जी लगाएंगे सत्र न्यायालय में, और सत्र न्यायालय 6 महीने के अंदर अंदर इंतजार करेगा कि वो दोनों फिर से वापस साथ में रह सकते हैं कि नहीं, उनका संबंध ठीक हो सकता है कि नहीं, और अगर नहीं होता था तो उनका तलाक स्वीकार कर लिया जाता था। इसमें प्रावधान कर रहे हैं कि 6 महीने के बाद और 18 महीने के पहले। अब ये अवधि जो बढ़ाई है ये भी एक तो कष्टकारक है, 1.5 साल वैसे ही। फिर इसमें एक शर्त डाल दी है कि अगर पति पत्नी दोनों संबंध खराब हुए और 3 साल तक अलग अलग नहीं रहे, और अलग अलग में भी उसी परिवार में अलग अलग घर में या परिसर में अगर कहीं रह रहे तो उसको मान्य नहीं होगा, उसको घर छोड़ करके अलग कहीं रहना पड़ेगा, और ये सिद्ध हो जाएगा कि वो 3 साल तक अलग रहे हैं, तभी इस पर विचार होगा, नहीं तो नहीं होगा। एक इसमें अच्छाई भी है और तकलीफदायक भी है कि जब इस प्रकार के तलाक होते हैं और पत्नी और पति का विच्छेदन हो जाता है तो उनसे उत्पन्न बच्चों की हालत बहुत खराब रहती थी। इसमें वो प्रावधान करने का प्रयास किया गया है, ये तो ठीक है, परंतु एक तरफा निर्णय, केवल वो पति ही इसकी भरपाई करने की कोशिश करेगा, इसमें ये प्रावधान है, ये कष्टदायक है। मैं इस अवसर पर यह आग्रह करना चाहता हूं कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट के अनेक निर्णयों को ध्यान में रखते हुए और संविधान के प्रावधानों को ध्यान में रख करके इस देश में समान नागरिक कानून संहिता बननी चाहिए। हिंदू विवाह अधिनियम और मुस्लिम विवाह अधिनियम में एक ही शादी करने का प्रावधान है। मैंने भी कुछ अध्ययन किया है, तो फिर क्या कारण है कि इस प्रकार की बात हो? हम मुस्लिम वर्ग के हमारे मित्रों से एक मिनट हमारे भाइयों से जब हम पूछते हैं कि या तो आप शरीयत की बात स्वीकार करो, अगर चोरी करने वाले के हाथ काटने का प्रावधान स्वीकार करते हो शरीयत के हिसाब से तो यहां भी करवा लो। अगर कोई बलात्कार करता है किसी के साथ और सिद्ध हो जाता है तो उसको कोड़े मारने की व्यवस्था है शरीयत में, आप इसको स्वीकार कर लो। अगर आपने किसी का मर्डर कर दिया तो आपको चौराहे पर खड़े करके पत्थरों से मारे गए, जब तक आप मरोगे नहीं मारते रहेंगे। या तो ये कानून लागू करा लो या भारत के संविधान के अंतर्गत जो कानून है उनको लागू करा लो। इस दिशा में सरकार को कारगर कदम उठाना चाहिए। धन्यवाद।
बहुत अच्छा, गुंडू सुधारानी जी।
Thank you, sir. Well said.
Piece of legislation which will have serious ramifications, and the married woman would be in a disadvantageous position in the absence of an institutional mechanism for their social security once the marriage is annulled. I support this bill, but I want some clarifications. First point I wish to make this is the bill proposed to make irretrievable breakdown of marriage as a ground for divorce. But nowhere the definition for irretrievable breakdown has been defined. I would like to know which are the grounds or the percentage of deterioration of relations that you call as irretrievable breakdown of marriage. In the absence of such a definition, courts will also find it difficult how to grant divorce under the proposed ground. So, for the following uniform standards in dealing with divorce petitions by courts, it is necessary to define the word irretrievable breakdown. Secondly, under section 13C and 28A, the law minister proposes to grant a decree of divorce. I think as these clauses could be misused to deny women rights on property and children in the absence of institutional mechanism. The clauses which allow divorce by mutual consent must be linked to a social security mechanism as well. Otherwise, this gives one more leeway for males to get divorced. I am saying this because most relationships, particularly where women are involved in our country, continue to be unequal. So I demand that enough safeguards have to be provided in the legislation itself to ensure that women not only get matrimonial property of her husband, but also there has to be clear stand or adopted couple. And the next point is under clause 13D. You are giving right to wife to oppose the petition on the grounds of financial hardship. I ask whether the Honorable Minister has ever thought about women living in villages in highly patriarchal societies where the majority of women accept that beatings, abuse are part of what marriage is all about. Otherwise, it is of no use. Secondly, the Standing Committee also recommended for defining grave financial hardship, which has not been defined in the bill. So I request the Honorable Minister to find this, to define this term in the bill itself. One more thing, in the recent study, the Rural Development Institute of Women Rights, Land Rights in Andhra Pradesh and Bihar noted that not more than the half of the Hindu women surveyed has signed away their right to land they would have otherwise inherited thereby losing the economic security. This is one example. I would like to know the minister how he would look at it and come to the rescue of the rural woman. One more thing, ma'am, that the proposed bill is silent on what will happen to the pending cases registered under Domestic Violence Act, IPC, criminal PC and or any other civil and criminal cases. I request the minister to also explain this, madam. Finally, the genesis of the bill is the case between the Naveen Kohli versus Neelu Kohli. It is in this case in the Supreme Court has recommended to the Union government to seriously consider for bringing an amendment to both acts. But it appears that the government has not understood the basic intention of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court observed in a court, marriage between the parties had broken down irretrievably with view to restore good relationship and to put a fetus to all litigations between the parties and not to leave any room for future litigation. so they may live peacefully hereafter. From a plain reading of the above observation, one more minute. It is very clear that the
एक मिनट आप बोल रहे हैं तो 2 मिनट रुक जाइए.
It is very clear that the intention of the High Court was to give relief to both the parties out of a dead marriage so as to close all the pending litigation between the parties so as they can spend the remaining part of the life peacefully. But unfortunately, the bill is completely contrary to the intention of the Supreme Court observation. With these words, I conclude my observation. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Rangasai Ramakrishna ji.
Sir, this standing committee recommended that you should define the irretrievable breakdown. But even if you cannot do it exhaustively, I think some illustrative definition will be called for. Second thing is, I find that this legislation is a little anachronistic when you prescribe some time period for staying apart. These are days when marriages exist on people living in different continents even. And our own army jawans live for long periods away from the family. Do you mean to say that that's a ground for irretrievable breakdown? Now, on the other hand, in the Muslim law, 4 wives live in the same roof. The first and second and third wife have already had a irretrievable breakdown. So, where is the linkage between your staying apart or staying in the same house and breakdown? The third thing is, there is an inherent contradiction between 13C and 13D. In 13C, you say that here you are prescribing a period of staying apart. And 13D, you say that the affected person can ask for can cite grounds of grave financial hardship. The very fact that the person has been forced to live 3 years apart, the other person will come and say she has stayed apart for a long time. That means she is able to look after herself. So I think there is a contradiction between 13C and 13D. I think these are some of the points which I think you have to look into before you pass this bill.
Thank you, Mr. Ramakrishna. Now, Minister. It's not here.
I want to.
Sorry, it's not on the list. You can discuss it with the chair. Please let Minister speak now. I don't know if the Minister will yield. I've already called him. Please kindly, please let him address the issue.
Time allotted was 1 hour. Time allotted was 1 hour.
Okay, just a moment. Please sit down. May I please gather my thoughts here and tell you? Yeah, Mr. Chitan. Yes, you can speak. I'm sorry, that list was different. Yes.
Vice Chairman, we politicians, we means male politicians, speaking in public forum generally says that we are for equality, women rights and so on. But when it comes to the lawmaking process, our mindset is...
You have 2 minutes, Mr. Chitan,
anti-woman.
So please be
I don't say use the word anti-woman, but not equal. We are not ready to give equal rights to women. That is the mindset. That the same thing is being seen in this process. Even the social media is being utilized for against this marriage bill. Because if this bill is passed by the parliament, then all the rights of the men will be lost, and women will have an upper hand. They will grab all the property, and so much of canards are being propagated through social media. So, apart from it, the one point I have to make is woman must get, wife and children must get equal right to the property which is being acquired after marriage. Because it is up to the laborer of the work of the woman also is contributing for acquiring this property. Second point, when the bill was first discussed in this house, I proposed to the minister that we are making this law in 2013, and Supreme Court has accepted that the co-living people, those who are not registered married but they are living together, that has to be treated as couples. What about that? They may be having property, they will have children. And what is the right of these women and children in their property when they were separated? We have to answer that question. Supreme Court has already accepted it. And when we will bring such an important legislation in this time, we have to include it, and then only we can do justice to the woman. It is not this bill is not perfect, but as far as it is a relatively progressive, and I congratulate the minister for beginning, even though it is delayed one, and think about giving equal rights to the woman, wife and children on the property which is acquired after the marriage. Thank you.
मोहम्मद अदीब जी।
थैंक यू मैडम। इस बिल के आने के बाद जिस तरह से मैसेजेस मिले, मुझे बड़ी फिक्र हुई कि कोई ऐसा खतरनाक बिल आने जा रहा है जहां मेरे कुछ हिंदू भाई और बहनों के साथ कुछ ज्यादती होने वाली है। मैं कल से सब लोगों से पूछता रहा, फिर ये उम्मीद की मैंने कि लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन की तरफ से कुछ बहस होगी तो मैं समझने की कोशिश करूंगा, लेकिन मैंने इतना पॉलिटिकल स्टेटमेंट कभी नहीं सुना। बिल पे एक बात भी नहीं हुई कि क्या असली मसला क्या है। फिक्र इस बात की हुई कि इस मुल्क में दूसरे कवानीन कैसे हैं दूसरे मुल्क के लिए। बड़ी अजीब बात कही गई कि मेरी 3 बहनें अगर 3 जगह शादी करती हैं तो क्यों करती हैं? अरे यही तो खूबी थी इस मुल्क की कि अगर कोई क्रिश्चियन से शादी करता है तो चर्च में जाके शादी कर ले, कोई अगर हिंदू से मंदिर में शादी करना चाहे तो वहां कर सकता है। लेकिन आपको फिक्र मुस्लिम पर्सन लॉ की ज्यादा थी। मुझे अफसोस ये है कि ये एक इतना अहम बिल जिस पे बहस होनी चाहिए थी कि क्या बात है, क्यों इतने लोग मैसेजेस भेज रहे हैं, आज उस पे एक बहस नहीं हुई। इस बहस को बड़ी मेरिट के साथ होना चाहिए था और मैं समझता था कि इस पे कोई बहस होगी मेरिट पे, लेकिन मैंने जितना समझा और अपने फाजिल मिनिस्टर से जो समझा है उससे समझा कि कोई बहुत अच्छा बिल आया है। मैं उसकी हिमायत के लिए खड़ा हुआ हूं, लेकिन मैं आप लोगों से कहना चाहता हूं कि जब बिल आए तो उस बिल पे बहस करिए। इस मुल्क की यह खूबी है कि हर मजहब के आदमी को अपने एतबार से रहने और जीने और सीने का सवाल है। आप उसमें आइन का मजाक मत उड़ाइए ये कह के कि ये आइन खराब हो रहा है। हकीकत ये है कि इस मुल्क में जो जिस मजहब को फॉलो करता है उसका प्रोटेक्शन मौजूद है। इस बिल की मैं हिमायत करता हूं।
I was in the meeting of the privilege committee where Honorable the Deputy Chairperson was presiding over it, and Balbir Punjabi and Jayaprakash Tadda all were there. Now, why should he make a comment like this that opposition is not taking it seriously because leader, deputy leader have not spoken? Najma ji is our senior member. After all, spoke. Mr. Thavat and Garu, the party, senior MPs.
What is the problem?
Pilania ji and we hold all our member in great.
It was 1 hour. It has taken 1 hour for it.
Criticize that statement. Very, very unfair.
We have to pass this bill. It was 1 hour. Now it has taken how much time? You spoke. No. बाद में नाम
Deputy Chairman sir, I made a statement which was twisted and reported in the House by another member. I respect everybody's right to speak in the House, but should not twist my statement. I said, if my daughter, 3 daughters, one marries a Hindu, one marries a Muslim, and one marries a Parsi, these were 3 words, you can look at the record. Then what happened? All 3 of them will be treated differently. I wanted to say it is not the Khubi. It is the thing is that discrimination against women.
Yes.
This law is oppressive.
That is the issue.
Oppressive, it is against 100 million Muslim women. This law is against 100 million Muslim women, and I'm sorry if you are a Muslim man.
You made your
and
point.
You are not supporting the Muslim.
You made your point.
I'm very sorry.
Okay,
if
fine.
you are a Muslim man,
No,
and
no.
you are not supporting. And all the Muslim men are sitting over here not speaking a word about it.
Okay, that's
I'm very, very
No,
sorry.
please. No, there's the last one.
ये कह रहे हैं बस 2 मिनट
अरे दो, आप नाम पहले दिया नहीं था, अभी नाम दिया तो मैं क्या करूं? तो पहले नाम देना था। ओके, 2 मिनट, हाँ, 2 मिनट बोलो, 2 मिनट बोलो बुंदर जी, 2 मिनट बोलो, क्या करेगा? Yeah, that is the last speaker. That is the last speaker. No more. It was decided 1 hour and you have already spent 1.5 hours.
चेयरमैन साहब, पहले तो मैं धन्यवाद भी करता हूं, लेकिन नाल की नाल ये भी कहना चाहता हूं कितना इंपॉर्टेंट बिल है। किसी पार्टी को टाइम दिया, किसी को ना दिया, आपने दे दिया, चलो धन्यवाद। मैं तो सिर्फ ये बात कहना चाहता हूं, ज्यादा डिटेल में नहीं जाऊंगा क्योंकि टाइम बहुत कम है। मिनिस्टर साहब हमारे पंजाबी मिनिस्टर हैं, ये जानते हैं कि जो ब्याह है, ये ब्याह एक ऐसा बंधन नहीं जब मर्जी हुई बन गया, जब मर्जी हुई टूट गया। ये ब्याह एक धर्म के आधारित हमारा सिस्टम था। हिंदू धर्म में फेरे होते थे, मुसलमान धर्म में निकाह होता था और सिख धर्म में आनंद कार्य होता था। और जो आनंद कार्य होता था वो हमारे गुरु ग्रंथ साहब के सामने होता था। और उसमें जो हमारे गुरुओं ने कहा है, तन पिरे ना आखियन बैठन इकट्ठे होए, एक जोधे मूर्ति तन पे कई सोए। यानी जो मैरिज है हमारे धर्म के मुताबिक 2 मूर्तियां, एक उनका जो है होना चाहिए, उसको बोलते हैं। इसलिए मैं जो इससे कहना चाहता हूं शॉर्ट में, वो मिनिस्टर साहब ये कहना चाहता हूं कि पहला जो पार्ट है वो ठीक है। सब चाहते हैं कि जो इतनी देर से ज्यादती हो रही है स्त्री के साथ वो नहीं होनी चाहिए। और आप जानते हैं हमारे तो जो है भी नहीं, सिख धर्म में तो सबसे पहले ये कहा है कि सो को मंदा आख्या जित जम्मा रजान, सबसे पहले गुरु नानक देव जी ने नारा दिया था। लेकिन मैं जो कहना चाहता हूं वो ये कहना चाहता हूं, सभी को जो चिंता है, जितने भी बोले हैं सबको चिंता है। आपने कानून को अच्छी तरह देखा, समझा और बहुत अच्छे कानूनदान है। किसी भी कानून को बनाने से पहले उसमें कितनी बातों पे गौर होनी चाहिए। पहला पॉइंट जो है कि क्या सोसाइटी को तोड़ना है, प्रोटेक्शन देनी है, लेकिन सोसाइटी को तोड़ना नहीं। अब इक्वल है दोनों साइड। कई दफा लड़की तंग कर रही है, कई दफा लड़का तंग कर रहा है। इसलिए जो लफ्ज जो है ना, वाइफ वहां स्पाउस लफ्ज पा दिए ताकि दोनों तरफ की एक की प्रोटेक्शन हो, ताकि किसी के साथ रहो। इसके लिए सब लोगों को और सारे देश में जैसे उन्होंने हर एक के पास जो आ रहे हैं ऐसे हो रहा है, जो हो रहा है। मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि कानून के जरिए समाज को जोड़ना चाहिए, तोड़ना ना चाहिए। प्रोटेक्शन हमारा फर्ज है, ये हमारी ड्यूटी है। और सेकंड जो कहा ऑनरेबल चेयरमैन साहब ने कहा कि जो सब धर्मों के हिंदुस्तान एक कंट्री है, सबके साथ एक जैसा कानून बनना चाहिए। जो भी
That's all. Mr. Minister, please.
Deputy Chairperson, I am deeply privileged to be here this afternoon and to hear distinguished members of this House support this very historic piece of legislation. So marriage is an act of sanctity, and the foundation of civilized society is based on marriage. And wherever marriages have broken down in other parts of the world, we have seen the disintegration of civil society. So I think it's very important for us to remember, especially in the context of our own traditions and our own civilization, that we in India truly believe in the sanctity of marriage. And therefore, for many, many years, we made it very difficult for parties to the marriage who were disillusioned with each other to go to court and seek divorce. But times have changed. We're in the 21st century. And I'm very happy to note that more and more women are part of our national march into modernity. And I am sure that in times to come, Kani Modi ji, there will be more women in this house and there will be more women in the other house. And I pray that that day comes very quickly. Having said that, sir, this has been a demand that has been pending for a long, long time. There are two judgments of the Supreme Court. I don't want to go into the details. They were referred to by the distinguished minister who was then introducing this bill in this house. There's a 217th report of the Law Commission, which also recommended that irretrievable breakdown should be a ground for divorce, an additional ground for divorce. Of course, this particular amendment only deals with irretrievable breakdown of marriage. It doesn't deal with other provisions of the Hindu Marriage Act. And the recommendations of the Law Commission and the recommendations of the Supreme Court were in the context of the Hindu Marriage Act. And it is in that context that we have brought this provision, and of course also in the context of the Special Marriage Act. The two amendments that we are talking about are amendments to the Hindu Marriage Act and amendments to the Special Marriage Act. In other words, people of any religion, if they so choose, can actually get registered under the Special Marriage Act. And the provisions that Nagmaji were talking about will apply to them. But we must give that choice to citizens of our country. We can't foist laws. For example, even in this legislation, it protects Hindu custom and usage. There are several customs and usages around the country with respect to marriages, which are also protected under the Hindu Marriage Act, even under this piece of legislation. So if Hindu custom and usage is to be protected, then other customs and usages must also be protected. And if two partners, now let me speak.
Sir, I never at any point say that you should include. I said bring a legislation which covers all the women.
If you note in your speech, you have said, please bring this into this legislation. I can remind you of what you said in this house. But it doesn't matter. I don't want to score a debating point here. I just want to say that two citizens are equal partners. They are entitled to say to each other, no matter which religion they belong to, that we will get our marriage registered under the Special Marriage Act.
Then why Hindu
and they will get all their rights.
Then why Hindu
Nobody prevents them to do so. But if two people choose to get registered either under the Hindu Marriage Act or want to marry in accordance with their custom and usage, we should respect those individuals. So I don't want to enter into an acrimonious political debate on this issue. We are on a very narrow issue that we want to include irretrievable breakdown as a ground for divorce. Now, irretrievable breakdown as a ground for divorce can only take place, and incidentally, this is gender neutral. It is not that the husband cannot move for irretrievable breakdown of marriage. The husband too can move for irretrievable breakdown of marriage. What is not gender neutral is the division of property. What is gender neutral is the application. Please, sir, would you allow me to speak? Would you allow me to speak? Please, would you allow me to speak and answer all the doubts of distinguished members of this House?
Minister is not yielding, Mr. Poon, he is not yielding.
You are such a distinguished and learned member. Such a distinguished and learned member.
He is not yielding, Mr.
You should please allow me to explain. Now, it's very clear. If parties to the marriage are living separately for a period of 3 years, and either of them feel that this marriage is completely broken down, they can move the court. Either the husband can move the court or the wife can move the court. Now, what is normally done in legislations in respect of marriage, that the woman's rights are protected more than the male rights. The reason is very simple. We are in a patriarchal society. We can make a great debating point in this house, but let's look into our own hearts. Let's look into our own hearts and ask ourselves how we treat our women. Let's look into our own hearts. Let's look around society and see how society treats women. Women are 50% of the population of the world, but they own 2% of the assets of the world. That's the reality of global civilization. 98% of the assets of the world are held by 50% of the population of this world. And they are all males. So let's be clear. These legislations are a message to the community that members of parliament are on the side of women in a patriarchal society. That message must go loud and clear to every citizen of this country. And it is with this intent that we bring this bill. And I am very grateful to distinguished members of this House to have supported. Now, some distinguished members raised the issue that why should women not be given 50%? In fact, that was the original thought that we have, that women should be given 50%. But then, see, the situation in the home will differ from home to home. There will be homes in which when property is purchased, it may be purchased in the name of the woman, right? Or land is purchased, it is purchased in the name of the woman. There are also situations like that. Now, if you give 50% share and say all property is purchased in the name of the woman, then the woman will say, this I will keep, and the 50% share also I will have. Right? So that also is a human situation that we have to deal with. So ultimately, we must trust somebody. Now, the distinguished member of this House said, how can we trust a judge? Because the latest transparency report says that 36% of judges are corrupt, right? How do we trust politicians with laws? Because the latest survey says that lots of politicians are corrupt. But we still have to pass laws. And we still have to trust our judges. And we trust and hope that this situation will improve. And I hope we bring legislation to that effect in this country, so that what happens in the judiciary also improves and what happens here also improves. So I don't think that can be the premise on which you can decide as to what kind of law should be passed. The judge will decide in the facts and circumstances of each case as to how that property should be distributed. The judge may in certain situations say the wife will get only 10%. The judge may in certain situations say I'll give the wife 50%. Or the judge in a certain situation at section 13C and D demands, say I will not grant this ground, not grant a decree of divorce because the children of the family cannot be protected. The aged parents cannot be protected. The wife cannot be protected. It will lead to such financial hardship for the old parents, for the wife and for the children that it would not be fair and just to grant this divorce. That power is also given to the judiciary, but we must trust the judiciary. And in the event a particular judge goes wrong, there is a right of appeal. There is a right of appeal right up to the Supreme Court. And I do believe there are enough honest judges sitting in the hierarchy of courts that they will correct the wrongs that have been committed at an earlier level. So I think that we should accept that fact and move forward. There are three basic amendments that we have brought. Number one, property acquired during the course of marriage, which is the self-acquired property of the husband, the wife has a share in it, right? The extent of the share will depend in the facts and circumstances of each case and will be decided upon by the judge. The wife also has a share in the movables that have been acquired in the course of marriage. When it comes to inherited property or heritable property, when the amount of compensation is to be fixed, the wife has no share in the inherited or inheritable property, and this is answering your point. But when the compensation is to be fixed, the value of that asset, which is heritable or inheritable, which is the movable property, will be taken into account by the judge in determining the extent of compensation that will be fixed by the judge. So these are the three basic amendments, and these are not 8 amendments, these are 3 amendments in the Hindu Marriage Act and 3 amendments in the Special Marriage Act. The other are all only type of, changing the year of the act and things like that. The other major amendment is that we have seen in the past, and this has been our experience, that when you go to court and the couples go to court for divorce by mutual consent, and this has to be done within, at least within, after 6 months of marriage, and before 18 months they must come back to court. And it's only then that the court grants a divorce for mutual consent. But we see many a time that though the first application is made, the second application is never made because one of the parties backs out. And so that leads to prolonged litigation, even though the marriage is broken down. So what we've said is that if after 6 months when the first application is made, 3 years pass, and one of the parties does not actually cooperate, then the other party can go to court and say 3 years have passed, please give me a divorce on mutual consent. So that's the other amendment that we have brought. These are the only 4 amendments, and there is no amendment which works against women or works in favor of men. In any case, most of these legislations are pro-women, and I hope and pray that they continue to be, because we must send that message to society at large. There are other points that were made by distinguished members as if men have no right to alimony at all. We are not touching upon the provisions of the Hindu Marriage Act or other legislations under which men get alimony. Under Section 25 of the Hindu Marriage Act, men are entitled to alimony. So it's not as if men are not entitled to alimony. You may not be entitled to property under this ground of irretrievable breakdown, but you are entitled to property under Section 25 of the Hindu Marriage Act. So it's not as if alimony is taken away from you. I think women are more worried about men in this house than women are worried about themselves. Because don't worry, we are taking care both of men and women, and we are trying to be fair to everybody. I do believe that, in essence, I have been able to respond to most of the points that have been made by distinguished members of this House. I commend this legislation to honourable members of this House.
Now, question is that the Marriage Laws Amendment Bill 2000 be taken into consideration. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have, the motion is adopted. We shall now take up close by close consideration of the bill. Clause 2 stands part of the bill. There are 3 amendments. Number 3 by Sri Kapil Sibal.
I move the amendment.
Then number 9 by Dr. T.N. Seema. Are you moving?
No.
No. Okay, withdrawn. Moving. Number 16 by Srimati Jarna Das Baidya. Moving. The amendments moved. I shall first put the amendment moved by the minister to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have, the amendment is adopted. I shall now put the amendment moved by Dr. T.N. Seema to vote. Those in favor say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the noes have, the amendment is negative. I shall now put the amendment moved by Srimati Jarna Das Baidya to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the noes have, the amendment is negative. I shall now put clause 2 as amended to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have, the clause 2 as amended is adopted. Clause 3 stands part of the bill. There are 6 amendments. Number 4 and 5, Sri Kapil Sibal.
I move the amendments.
Number 10 by Dr. T.N. Seema. Move the amendment. Number 13 and 14, Dr. Sri M. Rama Joyce. Moving?
It's moving and I want to speak about it.
No, moving. Number 17 by Srimati Jarna Das Baidya.
Without speaking, what is the fun of bringing the amendment without my views being expressed? If you don't give opportunity, I am helpless.
नहीं क्या बात कर ये कौन सी बातों के बिलोगे नहीं Okay, बोलिए. No, be brief. Okay, if you want to speak, be brief. Very brief. You can only just give a clarification.
No.
You cannot speak long.
It's already there. And now this irretrievable breakdown. It is such a vague term, and any person can, husband and wife can, small quarrel, they come and move a petition for divorce. And then, in fact, marriage bond which comes into existence between husband and wife itself is irretrievable. No, they want to say the breakdown is irretrievable. I think this is totally inconsistent with the concept of marriage in our culture. And then this is really speaking, it is destructive of family and interest of children. That is why I have moved an amendment to the effect that if there are children below 14 years, RT Act has been amended up to 14 years, children have got a fundamental right to education, and parents are under obligation to educate them up to 14 years.
Okay.
And therefore, if there are children, whether the husband presents the petition or wife presents the petition, if there are children below 14 years, then the petition is not maintainable.
Okay.
That is one amendment.
That's
the second thing is, under this law, permission only wife can oppose. That is totally against principle of natural justice. Why not husband? And if there are children, if they want to oppose the divorce petition, they must have the opportunity to oppose and give valid reasons for that. And that is not there. That is why the second amendment is the opportunity for the husband as well as the children. They must have the opportunity to oppose the divorce.
Okay, that's all right.
First.
Thank you. Now, number 17 by Srimati Jarna Das Baidya. Removing? Moving. Amendments moved. I shall first put the amendments moved by the minister to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have, the amendments are adopted. I shall now put the amendment moved by Dr. T.N. Seema to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. No. I think the noes have, amendment is negative. I shall now put the amendments moved by Sri M. Rama Joyce to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. My God. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. No, sir, the amendment is negative. I shall put the amendment moved by Srimati Jarna Das Baidya to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the no, sir, the amendment is negative. I shall now put clause 3 as amended to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have, clause 3 as amended is adopted. Clause 4 and 5 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have, clauses 4 and 5 are adopted. Clause 6 stand part of the bill. Number 6, amendment number 6.
I move the amendment.
Sri Kapil Sibal. Number 11, amendment number 11 by Dr. T.N. Seema. Move the amendment. Number 18 by Srimati Jarna Das Baidya. Yes, move the amendment. Amendments are moved. I shall put the amendment now moved by the minister to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have, the amendment is adopted. I shall now put the amendment moved by Dr. T.N. Seema to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the noes have, the amendment is negative. I shall now put the amendment moved by Srimati Jarna Das Baidya to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the noes have, the amendment is negative. I shall now put clause 6 as amended to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have, clause 6 as amended is adopted. Clause 7 stand part of the bill. There are 3 amendments. Number 7 and 8 by Sri Kapil Sibal.
I move the amendments.
Number 15 by Sri M. Rama Joyce. Are you moving? Okay, thank you. Amendment moved. First, I shall put the amendment moved by the minister to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have, the amendments are adopted.
He said no.
You see, this is minister. See, I will repeat it. See, I will put the amendment moved by the minister to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, amendments are adopted. I shall now put the amendment moved by Sri M. Rama Joyce to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the noes have, the amendment is negative. I shall now put clause 7 as amended to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have, clause 7 as amended is adopted. Clause 8 stands part of the bill. There are 2 amendments. Number 12 by Dr. Seema. Moved. Number 19 by Srimati Jarna Das Baidya. Moved. Amendments moved. I shall now put amendment moved by Dr. T.N. Seema to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the noes have, the amendment is negative. I shall now put the amendment moved by Srimati Jarna Das Baidya to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against will say no. I think the noes have it. Amendment is negative. I shall now put clause 8 to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it. Clause 8 is adopted. Clause 1 stands part of the bill. There is 1 amendment. Number 2 by Sri Kapil Sibal.
I move the amendment.
Amendment moved. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. I shall now put clause 1 as amended to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 1 as amended is adopted. The enacting formula stands part of the bill. There is one amendment by Sri Kapil.
I move the amendment.
Amendment moved. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. I shall now put the enacting formula as amended to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The enacting formula as amended is adopted. The title stands part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, ayes have it, ayes have it. The title is adopted. Kapil Sibal to move that the bill as amended be passed.
I move that the bill as amended be passed.
Yes. Yes.
Because in the final reading, in the amendment which you have said, original 113(2), that 3 years living separately is a precondition to determine that the marriage is broken irretrievably. By amendment, you are reducing that period.
That's on the mutual consent part. This is on the irretrievable part.
No, please listen to it. Is. Then kindly see your amendment, therefore it's very important.
13B.
Yes, 13B you are saying that we are adding a proviso.
Two provisos.
Two provisos.
Yes.
By the first proviso you are saying that a period lesser than 3 years can also be considered by the court.
That's right.
And the second proviso you are saying that if an application is moved even before 3 years by one of the parties, that one of the parties avoiding the court, then the court can take it.
That's different. There are two separate issues. One is for the purposes of irretrievable breakdown. The other is for the purposes of mutual consent.
My only problem is that it is all in one amendment.
That's maybe so, but that is the way it is.
All right. But in law it will be reflected separately, I suppose.
Yes, of course.
So that's very clear now. So Kapil Sibal to move that the bill as
amended. I move that the bill as amended be passed.
Motion moved that the bill as amended be passed. The question is that the bill as amended be passed. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The bill as amended is passed.
Thank you.
Jaldi then. Bahar jaakar de do. Now, see. Now CPL Singh will lay the statement on the table and then we are taking short duration discussion.
Sir, I lay the statement on the table. I lay the statement on the table of the House.
Okay. Now short duration discussion, Sri Naresh Agarwal to start. No, let him start. No. Let him start. Then I agree. Let him start. After that, if we want, we can adjourn. I am not saying. Let him start anyhow. Let him start. It is good that you start today. That is laid on the table. Laid on the table. I asked him to lay on the table.
Any clarification?
That we get clarification. Anyhow, no time today. One second. See the clarification on the statement laid on the table by the minister. We can, if necessary, take up even tomorrow. What do you say, Mr.?
I am as the chair director. Very important matter. Entire country is watching.
You want now? Yes. Then what about short duration discussion tomorrow? What is minister's view?
Only up to the House. We are ready for short duration discussion as far as is concerned.
Government is ready for either way. That is what. Nareshji, would you take it tomorrow?
Yeah, I am ready.